Next on Newsmax Prime, the Democrats tweet out a curious image for Memorial Day. Our commander-in-chief with an ice cream cone with no mention of the fallen. Our panel will talk about it. Also ahead, Gold Star mom Debbie Lee, whose Navy SEAL son paid the ultimate price in Iraq. Plus, Defense Secretary Ashton Carter criticizing the Iraqi military. Candid comments or improper criticism? Newsmax Prime for Memorial Day, May 25th, starts right now. Good evening and welcome to Newsmax Prime. I'm J.D. Hayworth. Thanks for spending part of your Memorial Day with us. Now, of prime interest tonight, fighter jets scramble earlier after threats to 6 jetliners in the Northeast. Meantime, social media explodes in criticism for the Democrats after the party tweets out a curious message for Memorial Day. Miranda Kahn has more from our newsroom. Miranda?
JD, those planes were given the all clear. But as you can imagine, many nerves are still frayed. Meanwhile, that tweet from the Democrats has frayed the nerves of many veterans and scores more on social media. Here is that tweet, which reads, "Happy Memorial Day weekend, everyone," while showing a picture of President Obama about to enjoy an ice cream cone with scores of the press taking pictures. That cold and seemingly unpatriotic message has enraged many on social media, including CNN's Jake Tapper, who tweeted in response, "Respectfully, this is not what Memorial Day weekend is all about." Others lashed out, as well as reminding the Democrats that their message said nothing about honoring military sacrifices, the true meaning of the day. And Mediaite points out that the Democrats also posted about Memorial weekend sales at their online store. JD?
Thanks, Miranda. For more, let's turn now to our panel. From Newsmax LA, Larry Elder, political analyst and Newsmax contributor, and from Newsmax New York, Ellis Henican, noted radio and TV commentator. Ellis, I'll begin with you. How can the Democrats defend that tweet?
Well, I'll defend it easily. I mean, the reality is that Memorial Day weekend is the unofficial beginning of summer. It's great to remember the troops. We should always remember the troops. But honestly, JD, this is just a bunch of phony outrage. I went to a barbecue today. I know people are opening their pools. I'll make you a deal. I won't have any more fun on Memorial Day. And when Labor Day comes, we'll have a seminar on organized labor. How about that?
Well, that's an interesting thought, Ellis, but let me get the thoughts of Larry Elder right now.
Not too surprisingly, I disagree with Ellis. It was tone deaf. I'm surprised not one person said, "Excuse me, Mr. Obama, this might be perceived by the veterans to be just a little bit insulting. Maybe we ought to rethink this." It shows you the attitude that the Obama administration has towards the military, shows you the attitude that his staff has towards the military. It reminds me of John Kerry when he said to young people, if you're not really smart, you don't do well in school, you're going to get, quote, stuck in Iraq. Insulting.
Well, I just have to follow up on this, Ellis, because you make the point that people have fun on Memorial Day, sure. But there are also ceremonies. There are also people who take time to pause and remember the troops. And maybe the commander-in-chief did not say, "Hey, Democrat National Committee, tweet out this picture." But certainly there could have been something more appropriate for the weekend and setting the tone for the commander-in-chief, couldn't there?
Well, look, two quick points. First of all, let's don't impute anybody's patriotism, okay? I mean, I understand we're saying that's unpatriotic. I think Miranda said that in her package. Inexcusable to question someone's patriotism in a situation like that. Secondly, there were 140 characters in one of those tweets. You know, you can't say everything, right? I'm sure there are all kind of things going on in Washington that honor the troops, as there should be. I honor the troops, we all do, but to gin up this phony outrage over something like that smacks more of politics than of actual concern for anybody.
I didn't hear anybody impugn anyone's patriotism. I think it's a question of judgment.
I think we said the president was unpatriotic, didn't we? The message was unpatriotic. Didn't I just hear that?
I don't believe.
I never said that, Ellis. What you've done is created a straw man, and you've attacked that. Nobody questioned his patriotism. We're talking about his lack of respect for this day. He is the commander-in-chief. He should have set the tone. You're absolutely right, Ellis. Memorial Day is kind of the unofficial start of summer. We expect the president to let us know what Memorial Day is all about. We don't expect him to be like everybody else.
Well, let's turn to national security and foreign policy. Our commander-in-chief should be concerned with that, as should be the Secretary of Defense. And speaking of the Defense Secretary, Ash Carter was on CNN Sunday to talk about the fall of Ramadi. His analysis has caused some defense experts some concern. Let's listen to what he had to say.
The Iraqi forces just showed no will to fight. They were not outnumbered. In fact, they vastly outnumbered the opposing force. That says to me, and I think to most of us, that we have an issue with the will of the Iraqis to fight ISIL and defend themselves.
Ellis, do you agree with that assessment from Ash Carter?
Yeah, I'm even more sick of them than he is. These people do not want to fight for themselves. We gave them, JD and Larry, more than a decade of our blood and treasure and ongoing efforts. You know what? If they don't want to fight, I hate ISIL. I mean, I think they're terrible. They're an awful thing they represent. They're doing barbaric stuff. But you know what? They've got to defend their own country, and they don't seem willing to do it. I'm sick of them.
What about it, Larry Elder? Carter's comments, were they candid, or was this criticism that was unjustified?
If I'm in the Iraqi military, I'm looking at the interview that Robert Gates, the former Secretary of Defense, did a couple of weeks ago, in which he said that when Obama pulled the troops out after declaring Iraq sovereign, safe, and self-reliant, they fired every single one of the generals that we put there that were trained, that were there because of their expertise, as opposed to their being political hacks. They were replaced with political hacks. That's why the military ran away, because they had no leadership that they trusted. So if I were Iraq, I would be saying, you didn't commit yourselves to us. You promised you'd stay there until we could stand on our own. You did not do that. That is why our military is in the shape that it's in today.
Moreover, Ellis, there was no air support to speak of going in there into that situation in Ramadi.
Bunch of belly achers. Seriously, I mean, we were there for more than a decade. What do these people want? You know what? Why should we be sympathetic to them? We gave and gave and gave. Should we stay 100 years or 1,000 years or a couple of hundred more thousand?
We're still in Europe. We're still in Europe. We're still in Europe. We're still in Korea. We're still in Korea. We're still in Europe.
Well, you know what?
For decades.
You know what? We should be out of there too. We should be out of there just as well. Let those people take care of themselves. I got no sympathy for any of them.
Well, still afoot, concerns about something transpiring here. We had 9/11 back in 2001. Polls show the American people are concerned about some sort of other terrorist activity on our shores today. An Air France flight to JFK Airport escorted by U.S. fighter jets after an anonymous threat was made against the flight. Now, according to officials, the threat to that Air France jet, only one of several, made to multiple airplanes headed into our American airspace. If a threat is credible enough to scramble jets for support, where do we stand right now on our national security? Larry Elder, to you first.
Well, the answer is that we're in a war against terror, and this is our new reality. Planes, buses. We saw what happened in Waco, Texas, in Texas when that cartoon contest was going on American soil. This is our new reality. We are at war against people who want to destroy us.
Ellis, your thoughts?
That's true. I mean, there are people who want to do terrible things to us. They're terror threats that are genuine. We have to answer them. We got to not let our guard down and remain vigilant. I mean, this is the new reality. I don't like it, but it's the new reality.
And with a minute 30 remaining, more evidence of that new reality. The Capitol Police arrested a man who had a pressure cooker in an unattended vehicle near the Capitol grounds Sunday. The contents of the vehicle successfully detonated by bomb squad officers. But the fact that in the District of Columbia, our three separate and co-equal branches of government are within a couple of square miles of each other, does that make Washington the point of attack for terror groups? 30 seconds to you both. Ellis, first to you.
No, New York is still target number one. Washington is probably target number 2 or 3. But, you know, you got to keep your guard up everywhere, that's for sure.
Yeah, and on 9/11, both New York and the Capitol were attacked, so he's right. We have to keep our guard up everywhere.
Gentlemen, just with 15 seconds remaining, what about the thought that those who want to kill Americans might go to softer targets? God forbid, shopping malls, smaller communities across the country. Ellis, first to you for 10 seconds, then for Larry.
Anything is possible, but don't forget, we've gone a lot of years without a single serious one, so we must be doing something right, don't you think?
Last word to you, Larry.
The enemy is adaptable, and hard targets become soft targets and vice versa. They're adaptable, they're very clever, they're very determined.
Gentlemen, on this Memorial Day, I thank you for your thoughts and an interesting discussion. Now, you heard what Ellis and Larry had to say. What are your thoughts? Send me your comments via email, newsmaxprime@newsmaxtv.com. There's also Facebook and Twitter.